My intention is not to manipulate you. The physiology is extremely important. Learn to listen to each other.
Բարև ձեզ, դուք դիտում եք Viva Podcast-ը եւ այսօր մենք ունենք յուրահատուկ թողարկում, որովհետեւ մենք խոսելու ենք անգլերեն միջազգային փորձագետի հետ ու միանգամից անցնենք այդ հրաշալի ոսկեղենիկ Շեքսպիրեղենիկին. And so our guest today is Hasmik Daniel, highly accomplished executive and personal coach with tens of years of experience in consulting with corporations, and she's here today to put me right. If I made any mistakes introducing, I know you deal with neuro-linguistic programming. Please tell us about that.
Yes, first of all, good morning, Sergey, and good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for me getting in here. As you said, yes, I've been in the field of neuro-linguistic programming for almost more than 15 years. And I'm going to add on what you said, that NLP is not only about understanding people and their behavior and the world, if you want, but also first understanding self. Because the most important thing in life is when you understand what are you doing, why are you doing it, and then only you can start thinking about changes you want to do in your life. But without understanding your mindset, without understanding your behavior, things you've been taught about, so you can never create a change. So that's why change starts from self, and the neuro-linguistic programming helps you to understand your mindset, especially your subconscious mind. And of course, later on, it helps you and provides you tools how to understand people, like executives, leaders, how to understand their team. Even on governmental sector, I can say, it's very important to master.
I was going to go to all those sectors one by one, but okay, we'll have this collage and then walk over them. But let me first give my cheap understanding and experience with NLP. So I was a student, and this friend of mine, he said, if you want to be better versed in relationships, if you want to pick up girls and get girlfriends in a more efficient way, you need to learn neuro-linguistic programming, which is this magic thing. You start synchronizing your breath and your posture and your behavior, some patterns of speech. You reflect and mirror those of a person nearby, and the girl falls in love with you immediately. That was our first or second year of university NLP introduction. So how close was that to reality, and is there any truth to that?
Yes. First of all, now you and I, we are mirroring each other.
Yes.
First of all, we are wearing the same colors, we are sitting in the same posture, and definitely this is what we call maintaining and building rapport in neuro-linguistic programming, yet not to make the women fall in love, yet to get closer to the person. Because in physiology, coming back to what your friend told you, definitely it's not true. Part of it is not true to make someone like you, but it is about whenever you sit with someone and you are having the same physiology, you feel more comfortable, right? Just to show you, for example, if you are seated like this and I'm all the time backward. So anyone watching us, all right, even on the TV shows, you realize the host and the guest should be seated the same direction. Because if I'm sitting backward, people will see there isn't really harmony between us. But if I am following your moves, because I'm a master in the neuro-linguistic programming, so it shows that our communication is in harmony. Definitely my intention is not to manipulate you, which is the word wrongly used in the market, yet it is about creating this harmony, because the physiology is extremely important.
All right. Which areas is NLP best, useful for? Is it for maybe business, politics, internal communications within a corporation?
Yeah, let me define the neuro-linguistic programming so that it will be more accurate and
and also linguistic part, please.
Yes.
As a linguist myself, I wonder how linguistics specifically applies there. If we use more of the same words or grammatical patterns, does it make us better understand each other?
Yes. When we say neuro, it is about the neurons in our brain, which is basically related to the senses of the human being. And we know that we all have the same senses, the visual, the auditory, the touching, the kinesthetic, we call it, the smelling and the taste. So we all have those. Yet we have a leading sense each one of us. So that's why each one of us, we have a different way of communication, different way of understanding. If you have kids, for example, or anyone watching us, if they have kids, they will realize that, for example, some kids, they like to learn by reading. Some kids, they like to sit in a silent place to focus, so because they learning language is different. So that's why the neurons is very important. Now, the linguistic part, which I adore in NLP, it refers back to Alfred Korzybski. He's a Polish linguistic person. He lived like maybe a century ago. And Dr. Richard Bandler, who is the founder of neurolinguistic programming with John Grinder, he was also a linguistic. They took the idea of the linguistic part from Alfred Korzybski. What he said, with words, just by choosing our words, we can love, we can maintain relationships, we can fix things, we can build a country, we can build a relationship, we can make decisions. Also, by choosing words, we can hate each other, we can create conflict, we can become anxious, we can create fear. So choosing the word, Sergey, is very, very crucial and important. And when I teach NLP, I focus on it a lot because on daily basis, the words we use them subconsciously, right? Have you ever thought about if you're going to say something, do you think about, what I'm going to say right now, or you just talk?
I just talk.
Yeah, it's a habit because subconsciously we talk. But when you start training yourself to choose the words to make an impact, to influence, not manipulate, definitely, I emphasize on that.
Well, there's a very thin line between those two.
Exactly.
Later, maybe we can get to that, but yeah.
But since you said the thin line, that thin line is the intention of the person and the ethics of the person. That is the thin line. Why I want to communicate with you using a proper word, because maybe I want to get the best out of you. For example, as a leader, since you were talking about leadership and executives, it's very important for the leader to master the words, choosing the words, because after all, the real leader is leading this team to make the best out of it, right? To achieve targets, to achieve results, whatever is the organization. Yet, if the person is just talking emotionally, subconsciously, those words can harm the person. For example, to be realistic more and get away from theories, I can tell you, for example, if you are in my team, I can keep telling you, oh yeah, Sergey, you are always late. There is always delay in your work. Like this, I'm demotivating you. Yet, if the real story is that, yes, there is always delay in what you do, I can come and tell you, okay, Sergey, when can you deliver this report? I want it, please, on Friday at 5 p.m. So instead of telling you, you are always delaying, you are always late, I can just tell you what is the outcome expected from you, just by saying different words. So the concept is the same. I want to pass you the message. Yet in front of telling you, don't be late, I will tell you, please, can you be on time on Friday, 5 p.m.? Can you send me the email, the report?
So basically, we are trying to get the result that we want without creating any insecurity or any hard feelings inside the person that we're talking to. And going back to choosing the language, I just thought of some examples that in geopolitics, they're trying to use nice words to avoid the edges. For example, instead of war, American politicians like to use enforcement of peace.
Yes.
They're enforcing peace in Balkans. They enforced peace here or there in Middle East or something to avoid more edgy and more provocative words.
Absolutely. Yesterday I was here walking by and I saw there was something written, don't make the street dirty. I was like, please let someone tell them, keep it clean.
Thank you,
Yeah, keep it clean, because whenever you give an order to the person by don't do this, your brain will not understand the don't. So for example, if you have a kid, you tell them don't touch, they touch. If you are fighting with someone, you say don't shout, they shout. Someone is crying, you say don't cry, they cry. So the brain does not understand the don't.
Brain is stupid, trust me.
The brain is metaphorically stupid, yet the brain has the amazing capacity to absorb information. It's your role to give the brain the needed information. So once I'm telling you, please, Sergey, don't talk to me like this, don't yell. Instead, I can tell you, Sergey, please, can you talk to me in a better way? Sergey, please, for example, don't forget to bring this. I can tell you, Sergey, please remember to bring this with you. So those are technical things. They are beautiful things. They help you to understand people better. And trust me, Sergey, linguistic part in NLP is a huge field.
Yeah.
The more you learn, the more you understand that there are still lots of things to learn about.
I just remember a book related to this topic where they were using the so-called social proof to persuade people of something, like at hotels. Instead of saying, don't throw your pillows on the floor at the end of your trip, they would say 65% of our customers normally keep the pillows, up there, or the towels.
Yes.
It was actually about towels.
Yes.
Not dirty. And that worked because when you use positive language and social proof, like most of your peers are doing this.
Absolutely. Even in the hotels, if you have realized, they ask a question. Do you want to support the nature, for example? So definitely you're going to tell yourself, of course, I'm not going to ruin, So that's why through the questioning techniques as well, which is in the linguistic part, they help you not to throw the towels on the floor.
Yeah.
So instead of telling you don't throw, no one will look at it. Yet if they ask you a triggering question, automatically you are going to say yes. So tell me, is this manipulating or this is helping you to understand what to do in a different way? So that's why I say the most important thing is the intention. And in the linguistic part also, Sergey, in the marketing field worldwide as an international level, they all use the Milton model language in NLP. For example, let's say Nike, okay? The slogan is just do it.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about what does that mean? Do what? Just do it.
A generally intriguing and dynamic message.
It's a vague language, Or for example, McDonald's, Happy Meal. Okay, what does it mean exactly? If I eat McDonald's, I'm going to become a happy person, my kid will become happy. It's a vague language. This is the Milton model, which is got by Dr. Milton Erickson. So it lets you understand that automatically, if you see the McDonald's, it's a happy meal. So happiness, of course, you want to eat the McDonald's. Or Nike, just do it, especially for the athletes, for example. They know if they wear Nike, so they were just going to do it. So those languages are vague languages. They let you think bigger than who you are or what you are. And that's why it helps you, of course, achieve, let's say, things you want to achieve. Okay,
let's get more specific. How do we make money using better language? How is it good for business? Is it slogans, advertising, all that marketing industry that you can make stronger by using better language and NLP in general?
Yes, it depends what is your mission, what is the mission of the organization. Is it to do a branding? Is it to have a better reputation? Is it better to have an image? Is it better to make more revenue? So it depends, of course, the marketing is related also to the target or the main concept, what is the organization aspiring for. NLP is the language part that helps you if you are talking about the marketing part. It is just the language that can attract people to look at the brand. Yet, if you are asking me, how can NLP help the organization to thrive, to become better, I emphasize on the relationship, on the communication. Communication is a very big word. I am in the field more than being former deputy CEO, and in the current field, I train people, I coach people, I mentor people. I am an instructor, and I still say I am a student in the world of communication. The moment every day you are meeting a new person from a different background, different culture, different understanding, then I am a student. I need to learn about you in order to have a good relationship with you, to go for a conversation. Because in communication, Sergey, definitely we are on daily basis communicating with each other. Yet the most important thing is to connect. The moment you know how to build a connection with people, then you are a good communicator.
Okay, well, I think we need a general national training on how to build that connection in Armenia.
Yes, please.
And okay, let's go back to your experience. What impact can NLP have in corporate environment on the culture, corporate culture, diversity, equity? Like how can it make a difference within an organization?
You know, the biggest threat in the organizations worldwide, not only here in the market, at international level I'm talking, is always the communication. When people, they have their way of communication and they want everyone to follow them and they expect everyone to understand them. This is not possible, it's not realistic. Not everyone can understand my way. So the smart leader or the smart person is the person who has a huge flexibility ability, where I can understand you separate than someone else, and I will communicate with you differently. Now, some people, they think that this is a weakness or this is a compromise. Why I'm going to compromise? I'm going to communicate with each person at a different level. For me, no, it's intelligency. When I know you and I want to deliver a message to you, maybe in my team, someone else doesn't have your capabilities or doesn't have the way you understand things. My role as a leader, it is to pass the message. So once I know how to master those skills, I will understand you, that you are different than someone else, and I will communicate with you completely differently. At the end, what I care about is the result, right, as a leader?
Yeah.
So how I'm going to communicate with you, if it is the same way or the different way, should not matter as much as I care about the outcome.
So what does it help? Does it help to maintain employees, keep them from looking for other jobs, keep them happier at their workplace, more satisfied with their work? How is it making people feel better at their work?
Yes, if we are talking about a team, what are they looking for? They are looking for, let's say, a good environment, healthy environment at work. Definitely, I'm not talking about the financial part, because the income has nothing to do what we are talking about, the human skills. We are talking about people here. So it's very important to create the environment, the communication, the relationship, the way they are addressed by email, by verbal communication, and the most important thing, Sergey, the non-verbal communication, which has a process.
Smiling?
Not smiling. Your body language shows everything, and we miss to understand that. Dr. Albert Mehrabian, his Iranian origin, Armenian of course, but he's American. He used to teach in the University of California. He is the one who talked about this theory about the body language and said the words we use, they have impact on our communication only 7%. 38 goes to the tonality, and the 55 goes to the body language. Yeah. So we fail to understand that body language speaks before the word comes out of your mind. For example, I can see you. Let's say you are seated, you're my friend or you are my colleague. Without you saying anything, I can tell you, oh, Sergey, what's wrong with you? Why? Because I can see it on your body language, right? Yeah, so the same thing is with the leader, with the team, when they are communicating with each other. The rudeness shows on the nonverbal communication, the bad impression, what you are thinking. I always say that whatever you are thinking about, your body language makes you become naked in front of people. So you don't need to be a poker face, because people also will see that. You need to fix the mindset so that subconsciously your body language will show how genuine person you are.
I assume you have walked down streets in Yerevan and seen the body language of random passersby. When I do that, the random people, this bitter, sad and depressing expressions, they make me want to kill myself. And I wish we had a training on people. Actually, there's this, you may have heard the broken windows theory, where if you have broken windows all around, it fosters a situation, an environment where you want to do bad stuff, and when you have fixed windows, smiling faces, people looking happier, the general environment and, your instincts, your motives become better. So I wish we had that at some point. Maybe we can get you in Armenia to train all pedestrians in the street. But I want to ask about emotional intelligence, if I may. What the hell is that? I tried reading that book, and I tried to make sense of that, but it's still very vague, and I don't want to bias. Just why is it important, and how is it different from just being emotional, and just general psychology? Why is it important? Why is it? It's
not only important, it's like mandatory for each one of us to understand emotional intelligence, which is directly related to the neuro-linguistic programming.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Because why? We are talking about the intelligence of our emotions and not our IQ. You know, before, during the recruitment, they used to measure the IQ of the person. Currently, in the biggest organizations,
they have this test.
Yes. Now, no.
Questions or how do you relate to this or that phrase? Recently, I helped my friend. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Helped do a test for hiring or something. It was in English, just translating. But it was very emotional, actually. I get irritated. Do you agree with that or not?
Yeah, but here, why we do that during the recruitment? Because we want to understand your behavior. So in United States, for example, I'm going to go for their numbers because it is announced. During the recruitment, now they are giving attention to the IQ 15% only. The 85% goes to the emotional intelligence.
Really?
Let me tell you why. If you are a genius, you have graduated.
That's not enough. Obviously, it's no longer enough to be a genius.
Of course, it's not enough. And it doesn't matter if you are a genius or you're not a genius. The most important thing, you to be smart emotionally. Even if you are from Harvard, your IQ score is amazing. Yet, if you do not know how to behave with your team as a leader, then you're not a leader. This is the studies I can tell you, the last 40 years, they prove that the leader who is emotionally intelligent is the most successful leader. The politician who is emotionally intelligent is the most successful and loved politician. Not going and voting for them because we have to, because we want to. There is a huge difference of something. I have to do something. I have to follow my leader, or I want to follow my leader. So when we say emotional intelligence, it doesn't mean I'm someone emotional and I'm going to cry or I'm very sensitive.
Yeah.
No, it means I am self-aware. I know what I'm doing. I am aware of the things I'm doing. I'm not afraid to confess and say, oh, I'm so sorry I said that. Excuse me.
All right.
I know how to regulate my emotions and no one can trigger me because most of us, we are triggered by people. We are triggered by someone told us something. And that shows us how much weak we are once we project what I'm feeling on you.
Well, how is it different from counting to 10 before responding to some negative event or something? It's basically about self-control, is it?
It's not control. I would love to use the word regulation because controlling is suppressing. And once you control your
What's
emotion,
wrong with suppressing?
No,
Done it all my life.
let me tell you what's wrong in it, because if you suppress your emotions, you are not dealing with them.
But then you get a beautiful trauma. I'm sorry. You get a beautiful trauma and then you channel it into art.
Oh, all right, that is creativity. Yet once you suppress your emotions, Sergey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, someday someone will come and tell you any simple word, you might just just a volcano. Why? Because you were suppressing it for some time. Whereas when you deal with your emotions, someone triggered you, you deal with it, you understand where is it coming from, and you get over it, so you are healed. And you will not project that anger on someone. Usually when we are angry or anxious or we are afraid, we project it on people. That's why so many leaders, when they come to the organization, the team just look at the person, okay, is he okay today? Is he angry today? Because if he's angry, he's going to shout, he's going to yell, he's going to deal with them, let's say, not in a good way. So that's why that person should be emotionally intelligent to regulate his or her emotions in order to maintain the healthy environment in the organization. And the third component of emotional intelligence is the motivation, because we all need the motivation, right? Yet if you are not motivated internally, I can motivate you every day. Sergey, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. But from inside, if you're not motivated enough, it will not last. So that's why emotionally intelligent people, they know how to motivate themselves. They know how to stand up again. They know how to be grounded. They think on their feet. This is what I tell people that are emotionally intelligent. And of course, another component is the social skills, how much we have the ability to build relationships. Here comes the role of the neuro-linguistic programming, because there are lots of articles you can find out on the combination of the ideas between both NLP and EQ, emotional intelligence.
So how can we get Armenians to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, and now I've learned something, and now I've become a better person, so, don't blame me much. People make mistakes.
First, let's not generalize, because in NLP we do not need to generalize that all Armenians, they don't say that they are sorry. There are so many, they do say that, respect to them. Yet I believe that, I believe, I believe only a confident person can say, I'm so sorry. And here comes the emotional intelligence, how much you are self-aware of what you did that was wrong, something you said. So when you are self-aware, when you are confident enough that I'm sorry, I did this to you, I apologize. Yet, you know what is the challenge, Sergey, sometimes? When people, they apologize, you say, all right, fine, I forgive you. Yet, after a couple of months, let's say, another incident happens, and you remind back that person you already before a couple of months. So here the person will stop apologizing to you because of your attitude. So they are all interlinked. When we are talking about EQ or NLP, we are talking about your behavior, we are talking about your values, we are talking about your belief system, your the way you remember your memories, decisions you took, how much you're confident about yourself, which is part of your values. So overall, in order to change this, it needs a bit of more education, not academic, on personal level.
Hasmik, am I right thinking that people in leadership positions are more reluctant to say they're sorry or they did something wrong because they're afraid that that will destroy the confidence in them or their credit?
For me, that person is not a leader.
You hear that, leaders?
Yeah, because a leader, if you are talking about the leadership skills, the most important thing is about understanding your team, understanding people, being genuine, having your ethics, having your values. You are the one preparing another leader, and that is, I can tell you that we fail to understand in here. I didn't see a leader who is willingly preparing another leader in his or her team because they are afraid their chairs, their roles, because they are more authoritative. And this is not a leader. When we talk about the biggest leadership schools, which I teach from John Maxwell School or any other big leadership school, this is the first thing mandatory to understand, that if you are a leader, you are someone who need to educate your team, to make them become better. You need to be influencing them, inspiring them, motivating them, and not expecting them only to respect you without you respecting them. That's why I say that person is not a leader.
All right, so for the future leaders and people listening to us, what some techniques or recommendations would you give so they can start applying for very user-friendly NLP devices? A few that people can just go and start practicing.
Yes. I tell them that leadership is not a position. Leadership is about a character. It is about the skills you are always learning, skills you are developing to become a better person. Any person who believes that he's at his best, he knows everything, which I call them fixed mindset people. So they can never become a great leader. If you look for the great leaders worldwide, you will see that how great they were in the way they were genuine, vulnerable, influencing, inspiring people, motivating them, getting the best out of them. Those are leaders we need to talk about. So basically, I tell them, please work on your soft skills, work on your behavior, work on your body language, your nonverbal communication, work on the words you are choosing to communicate with people around you, and think about how you can maintain a healthy relationship with your team and stop thinking about your position and the authoritative role that you are carrying that was given to you.
Okay. Thank you. And usually when I start a discussion, a team meeting or something, I use the phrase like, okay, I'm not the smartest person in the world.
Yes.
And I think that helps.
Yes.
Helps me, if I make mistakes, that makes it easier. So maybe they can do that.
You reminded me, my mentor always used to tell us during the classes, any training room you are going or any speech you have to go for, please, whenever you enter, just remind yourself you are not the smartest in this room. There are people smarter than you.
That's me. I'm always not the smartest person in the room.
No one is the smartest, right? Because we can never measure that. Smart in what? Maybe you are the host in your field. Definitely, you know much more things than me. In my field, I know maybe much more things than you. But maybe I am an expert in this field, and you have read a lot about it. Maybe you know things I've never noticed. So why not to listen to you? Because we do not have also the listening abilities. We just hear each other. And there is a huge difference between actively listening to you to understand what you want to tell me, or just hear the sound and the words, and I will get back and say whatever I want to you. That's why also leaders fail sometimes, because they ask the question and they answer back.
Yeah.
So they don't give the chance to the person to reply. So they answer whatever they were assuming, or they were thinking that's why you did this. That's why I say also
familiar.
It's about listening. We need to listen to each other, learn to listen to each other.
Well, maybe we now have artificial intelligence that's going to help us better listen to each other, or it's already listening to us at all times, maybe. So I wonder how AI and machine learning, all those things are they integrated into NLP, context in any way?
Yeah, I am with the artificial intelligence. I'm not against it. I was in the exhibition. It was the biggest exhibition in Abu Dhabi and Dubai a couple of weeks ago. And you see how much it has a huge impact on education. The most important thing, Sergey, is how I am using the AI. I'm not abusing it. I'm not becoming lazy and relying on AI. It's about using AI to not to waste much time of the research I'm doing. So getting information from it, me to enhance better or to excel in my skills or make things faster maybe. So the challenge is that still, again, we lack education in this. Using the AI to do my homework, using the AI to prepare my presentation. We need to understand how we are going to use the artificial intelligence to help us and not to work against us and make us become lazy people.
Yeah, I have this fear that AI actually can learn NLP and use that to kind of manipulate us, but that's sci-fi-ish.
Yeah, we need to remove this word from the dictionary, manipulation, when we talk about neuro-linguistic programming, because it is not. All right, it's all about, as I was telling you a while ago, it is the thin line.
Yeah,
it is about your intention.
Yeah, well, AI may be, evil, not so nice. Maybe he can, in that context I'm using, no, we are not, obviously, manipulating. We are guiding people to a better understanding of each other. But, just some fears with AI, they're everywhere. My pre-last question is, how scientific is NLP? Is it science, or is it some branch of something else?
Yes.
Or is it something?
Yeah, there is a huge discussion about this matter. Some people agree that NLP is science. Some people agree no, it is not. But I can tell you my humble and personal opinion based on my education that neuro-linguistic programming was founded in 1970s by Richard Bandler, as I mentioned, and John Grinder, who was a mathematician and a computer scientist. Yet the basics of NLP was taken from Dr. Erickson and Alfred Korzybski. Those two people were scientific people. And what they talked about was about the mind. So when I'm talking about the mind, I am understanding the neurobiology of what I'm talking about. So when I say neurobiology or neuroscience, then it is pure science. Yet, there is a huge conflict between, I can say, the psychology school and the NLP school. Psychology consider that NLP is not valid when we talk about therapy. NLP people say, all right, you are free to consider that it's not valid, but we can show you lots of proofs, and there are amazing, I can say, therapy ways. I'm not talking here about organizations. I'm talking about the therapy in NLP, that they healed lots of people of phobia, people were attached to people they lost in their lives, people who had fears, people who had anxiety. I can tell you, NLP for me is the science of excellence, and it is the art of change. For me, it's a combination of the artistic mind and the scientific mind.
Oh, well, it's about basically understand self-improvement and building your confidence in yourself. Does it also involve some kind of meditation practices that you can better focus on things? Pre-last question. Yeah.
Yes.
Is meditation any part of this? Because
Yeah,
I've been looking into that.
Yeah, of course, it's not also in our culture, the meditation, and I would love to nurture this culture. Because when we say meditation, you are talking about to silence your mind and become mindful. Most of the time, Sergey, none of us, we think about how we are breathing and how we are giving the oxygen to our brain. And we know that the food of our brain is the oxygen.
It is.
We need enough amount of oxygen to refresh our brain, to refresh the way we are thinking, to calm down. That's why it's very important to meditate. Meditation is becoming mindful, becoming present, because most of the time the human being is either stuck in the past or overthinking about the future. And we miss today. And today is what we get. Today is my power. Today is my asset. But we miss to live the moment.
Yes,
And then we regret. Right? So that's why to be mindful and to meditate, it's very important to master it. And definitely in NLP, we do teach that.
All right. I'm sure there's much more to NLP, and I'd like to give you a chance to recommend a book to our viewers, listeners. Something, it may have to do with NLP or something broader, whatever you like. You think people...
I'm a great reader, by the way. Reading is one of my hobbies, and that's why I created the group of people who like to read starting 2018, which is a book club. We gather and we read books. I love reading. I would recommend anyone who is going to know more about NLP, you need to choose people who are specialized in it, like Dr. Richard Bandler, John Grinder, Dr. William Horton, Paul McCanney, he's a British NLPer. Let's not go for people that they just talk about NLP and they didn't learn NLP, because you can learn something wrong. So if it is about NLP, choose please those authors, Bandler, Horton, McCartney, and Anthony Robbins. I admire him. He is the father of NLP. He is the coach of the two presidents of the United States, Bill Clinton and President Obama. I love the way they talk. Please watch their speeches and see how they had the ability to communicate with people. So his name is Anthony Robbins. And if any other book, definitely please read Emotional Intelligence for Daniel Goleman and Social Intelligence. It is an amazing book, both of them written by...
Too many intelligences for one person.
And the book, which is very close to my heart, I have read it 5 times, is Man's Search for Meaning, written by Dr. Viktor Frankl. Please read this book to understand more the reason of your existence in this life.
Yeah, well, his Say Yes to Life is really good. Search for meaning. Okay, well, thank you very much. Hasmik Daniel was with us, and hopefully we now better understand how to be nicer and more emotionally intelligent and neuro-linguistic people.